Hey, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Farah Dr. Laurent here. I wanted to come on a couple minutes sooner, but I got caught up doing something. But anyways, thank you again for watching. Today I want to talk to you about nurse entrepreneurs, particularly that have businesses. Let's say you're a coach, a consultant, maybe you provide a service or a product, but you are struggling to get clients, right? You can't seem to get clients. You're constantly chasing clients. You have to go to them. They're not actually coming to you, right? So if you want to learn how to attract clients so that they can come to you, this is the life for you. I'm going to get into a little bit of marketing, talk a little bit about inbound marketing and how clients can start coming to you, and some strategies, some easy strategies that you can start implementing and taking action on so that you can get clients to start coming to you. All right. So I'm also going to go on TikTok. I meant to go on sooner. Sorry, I did this yesterday too. Um, but let me know if you are watching. Let me know where you're watching from, what city you're watching from. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll be able to answer them as we go. Okay. And for those who don't know me, I'm Nurse Farah. I've been a nurse for over 20 years. I started in emergency medicine, went into education, held multiple leadership positions, and then transitioned to nurse entrepreneurship. I've been a nurse career coach for about 4 years. So I help new graduate nurses land their dream role in less than 90 days and help them get into specialty areas like the emergency department, the ICU, NICU, labor and delivery, you name it. And I'm helping them make six figures. That's right. Anywhere from 100,000 to 175K. And how did I get started on this journey? I started in the summer of 2021. I had no clue what I was doing. I learned everything about business really on my own in the beginning, from reading books, watching podcasts, following other marketers and big business owners and millionaires. So over the last 4 to 5 years, I've learned so much. I've been to business conferences, and now I am actually hosting my own conference called Nurses Making Business Moves. You can get tickets at nursesmakingbusinessmoves.com. It's going to be held in Tampa, Florida, March 6th and 7th. Okay. And who can attend? This is for any nurse that is business minded. You don't have to have a business to come. You can have a business idea or just want to learn more about how to just be business savvy, how to negotiate your salary, make more income, perhaps start a side hustle, whatever that looks like for you. There'll be information at that conference for you. And not only are you going to be getting a ton of great information, you're going to be getting information that you can put into place that's actionable. And the best part is you're going to network with so many different nurses and other entrepreneurs, so that you can actually grow and be in community. All right. So that's a little bit about me. So back to the journey. Like I said, many nurses really don't know much about business, and you don't necessarily have to go back to school to get an MBA, but the amount of time that it takes to learn all these things, marketing, sales, it takes a long time. So that's why I decided to start creating content for nurses who have started businesses or who are looking to start a business. So, I can help them, guide them along the way, talk to them about my struggles, what I'm currently navigating through, the wins, the challenges, and everything in between. So, this is why I want to talk to you today about, really, it's called lead generation. How can you get leads, right, into your business to become potential customers, right? Potential clients. And how do we do that, right? So, first of all, I want to quickly just talk about my journey. Like I said, the reason I went into nurse career coaching is because as a nursing student myself, I was told that I would never be an emergency nurse and that I should start a med surge. Of course, I didn't listen, still pursued the emergency department, and I got hired as a nursing student. That's why I promised myself that I would later become an educator and a clinical instructor and then help the next generation of nurses. I saw a gap in the marketplace because there weren't really any nurse career coaches 20 years ago when I was around. And I developed, this curriculum, these frameworks, these strategies to help new nurses be more confident when they interview, change the way they think and their mindset as they're entering the workforce so that they can really get what they want and not listen to the old, traditional, old school, negative, narratives. And I want new nurses to know that they can make more money, start in the areas that they want to start, and, be happy entering the field of nursing. So that's what I decided to do. And I've been doing this for about 4 years now. Obviously, I was doing this before for free, and then I turned it into like my business model. So in the beginning, I was working one-on-one with clients, with new graduate nurses. I've now transitioned into a group coaching model, okay? And most people would ask me, like, how did you, start getting clients? Like, how did that happen, right? And I know many entrepreneurs that are coaches or currently consultants struggle with getting clients, whether your client is an actual person or a company, like a healthcare company. Maybe you're a consultant and you have to target healthcare companies or hospitals. How do you target these potential clients so that they can actually come to you, right? So really the easiest way for me was to start creating content. So I've been creating content now for 4 years. I've been consistently going live for 4 years, every single week. I started my journey on LinkedIn, and it was just LinkedIn alone. And then I started going live a couple months after, and I was going live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and now just most recently Instagram. And now I'm on TikTok as well. I just started on TikTok for the last couple months. So that's how I started. I started creating content, talking about my expertise, talking about my own personal experience, as I mentioned, as a nursing student and the struggles that I went through and how I overcame those and became an emergency nurse right out of nursing school. And then I really just shared what I knew, started sharing tips, giving value to nursing students, mostly about interview tips, which I still do today. I now also have a webinar attached to that. I have a weekly free webinar that I offer. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I just started giving away content for free all the time, every single week. I started doing written posts, videos, and then going live. So naturally, nursing students started reaching out to me. And they're like, hey, thank you so much for creating this content. It's so valuable. I'm learning a lot. Some people from just watching my content were actually getting job offers just from watching my videos, not even working with me one-on-one, but just from watching my videos, people were actually getting jobs. And that was really transformational. And I was like, this is so important. And people all across Canada and US were messaging me. And that's how I started getting clients. They started coming to me. So that's what I want to talk about. For those that are new to business, or maybe you're thinking about business, obviously marketing is huge and visibility is huge. When I talked a little about visibility in my last live that I had. So when I say visibility, I mean, you have to be present, right? People have to know you. You have to be visible on social media, online, and in person. Because if you have a business, and I know many nurses who make this mistake, they have a business, maybe they're a consultant or a coach. In fact, I met one lady who had a website, who was a nurse. She was a consultant. She had a website for 7 months and did not share with anyone that she was a consultant and did not share her website with anyone. And I was like, how is anyone going to know that, first of all, you have a business and that you're a consultant if you're not talking about it? Right. And most people are fearful and they're so afraid to talk about their business. But I'm like, if you don't talk about your business and what you do, what problems you solve, the results that you get, then no one's going to know you. And if they don't know you, they're not going to be able to buy the product or service that you're trying to put out into the world. Sounds pretty silly, but that's why a lot of nurses who have businesses are struggling to get clients. Okay. So, what is inbound marketing? So, marketing in general, right? There's different forms of marketing. Social media content creation is a piece of that marketing, right? So, if you're visible, you're creating content specifically for your target audience. So, for me, I'm going to use me as an example. I am a nurse career coach, and I'm also a business coach for aspiring nurse entrepreneurs, and those who want to build up their personal brand so they can get more paid speaking opportunities and just unlock more opportunities, right? But let's use the nurse career coach as an example. I went on social media, said that I was a nurse career coach, talked about the expertise that I knew, focused in on interview skills because that's one of the biggest things that new graduate nurses struggle with. So that's one of the biggest problems or pain points is interviewing. So a lot of my content focused on that. My target audience was the new graduate nurse. In the beginning, I actually created content for every nurse, and that's where I went wrong. When I narrowed down my content and specifically focused on my experience as a new nurse, my experience as a new grad, and started sharing my lived experience and the content um, that I knew would help the new nurses. They felt heard, they felt seen, they felt like I understood them. And that's when they started reaching out to me because they connected with my content. It was relatable. They saw themselves in me and they started reaching out, right? I started to attract them. Okay. So, really, inbound marketing means that clients find you. Okay. Clients are finding you. So, one example is I actually had a mom of a new graduate nurse reach out to me, and I asked her, "Hey, how did you find me?" And she said, "Oh, I just went on Google, searched, nurse coach, and she said your name came up. I went on LinkedIn and messaged you." And that's how she found me, right? So again, it's clients finding you, listening to your work, finding out about what you do, and reaching out to you so that they can work with you. It's a powerful way to attract clients. And when this inbound marketing works, right? There's something we say in sales or in business, right? It's called conversion rates. So typically, let's say you have um, 10 people reach out to you. If one out of those 10 people say, yes, I want to become your client, then essentially that is a 10% conversion rate, right? One out of 10, 10% conversion rate. It's if three people out of 10 say, hey, I would love to work with you, that's a 30% conversion rate, right? So, inbound marketing, typically when people reach out to you, your conversion rate increases because they've already looked up your work. They trust you. They see you as an expert. They read the reviews. They read the testimonials. They've been following your content maybe for weeks, for months, or even years sometimes. And they're like, that's the person I want to work with. So when they come to you, there's no real questions. They're not asking you, like, hey, Farah, how many nurses have you helped? Do you think you can really help me? Because they already know. They've read the receipts. They've seen all the proof that you are an expert. You say what you do. You say what you do. they see that it's true. So that level of trust is very high from inbound marketing leads, right? So essentially, I would say most people that come to me from inbound marketing, I would say that's probably like a 60 to 80% conversion rate. And that's massively high, right? Because they've already done their research, they know they want to work with you, they trust you, and that's it. But if it's the other way around, for those that are a little bit familiar with marketing, when we say cold outreach, like if you think telemarketers, back in high school, I was a telemarketer, you would just pick up the phone and call someone, right? And say, hey, do you want these windows and doors? We have a deal, right? That's cold calling, right? When you do that, people don't know who you are, they've never heard of you, they don't really trust you. So let's say you get them on a consultation call, there's a lot of questions that might be happening because they don't really know you. This is like the first time they've seen you. So your conversion rate might be 10%, 1 out of 10, or it might be 2 out of 10. Okay. But this is why inbound marketing is so important. And how do you get to that level? It's through visibility, through creating content, through showing up in person, sharing testimonials, sharing your expertise, and all that type of stuff. So let's get into my tips quickly. I have 5 tips on how you can improve your inbound marketing so that you're no longer struggling to get clients and that you're attracting clients and they're coming to you and you have increased conversion rates. Okay. So, number one, I will say speak to one clear problem and speak to one person. Yes, you have a target audience. So, for me, it's the new graduate nurse. But many times when I create content, I create the content as if I'm speaking only to one person. So, even when you're creating your own content, you're making videos, speak like you're speaking to one person. And essentially, right, a lot of nurse entrepreneurs are typically helping their younger self. So for me, that's clearly what it is. I'm helping my younger self 20 years ago as a nursing student. So I know the thoughts, the feelings, the struggles I've had. So when I create my content and I talk to these new nurses, I understand them 100%. I know what they're going through. So my content relates to them. So that's my number one tip. Speak to one problem they have and speak directly to your target audience. So one thing is, hey, are you struggling to get interviews? You can't seem to land your dream role because recruiters are telling you that you need a year or two of experience or that you should go to med surg. Well, listen, I've been there. I've been in your shoes. I still got hired as a nursing student, and this is how I did it. And then you give the actionable stuff, right? That's like a piece of content that you could do. Okay. And then the other piece to that is make sure that your messaging is clear and it's specific. It's not all over the place and it's not too broad. Okay. When I first started, my content was a little bit all over the place, but the more that I created content, I got very clear on the business, very clear on what it is that I want, who I want to work with and the impact I want to make. I knew that the new graduate nurse and a nursing student is who I was speaking to. So my content got very specific, very clear, so that they could understand. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is teach from experience. And basically, you have to create content. If you are a business owner, a consultant, a coach of a product or service or whatever it is, if you're not creating content, no one's going to know about your business or service. They're not going to know about you as a brand. They're not going to be able to trust you. So one thing is you have to teach from lived experience. You have to do, storytelling and talk about why you started your business. People typically want to know the behind the story. So for me, as I shared earlier, the reason I started my business as a nurse career coach is because I struggled as a nursing student. I didn't want other nursing students to go through what I did. And I wanted to give them strategies and frameworks so that they can actually get the positions that they want. So for me, I wanted to be an ER nurse, and I knew that's where I belonged. But people were trying to push me into med surg, and I didn't want that. So that's really the impact that I want to make. I also want to increase diversity in nursing and help diverse candidates get into whatever roles that they want to get into. And I also want to break down the old narratives that nurses have to start in med surg. I don't believe that, right? I really believe with the right education, training, the right support, that new grads can start anywhere they want. And that's part of my belief, my values, and the branding and my messaging, right? And then I'm always teaching interview skills, how to negotiate salary, all those types of things. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3 is be consistently visible. So for me, I first started on LinkedIn heavy. I now have over 32,000 followers on LinkedIn. And then I started doing more lives and recently just joined TikTok. I love TikTok, by the way. So thanks everyone on TikTok for joining. And I love YouTube as well. I recently started a specific YouTube. Well, I have a YouTube channel with the nursing dose, but I'm specifically creating content for new graduate nurses. So look out for more of those videos. You can go to the nursing dose with Farah to check out those videos. Okay. So be consistently visible. So if you're first starting out in content creation and you're like, oh my goodness, this is too overwhelming, I would say find out where your target audience hangs out. So for me, I know TikTok, a lot of new graduate nurses and nursing students are on TikTok. That's why I decided to, a few months ago, really start creating content on TikTok. And I know a lot of new graduate nurses are also on LinkedIn because it's the number one professional network to find jobs, and people are constantly on LinkedIn. And I just happen to love the platform. And there's over, so many people using LinkedIn. Side note about LinkedIn, I have been going live every single week for about 4 years. So really, I'm in the 0.1%, not even 1%, 0.1% of top creators on LinkedIn because I go live consistently and I go live weekly. Also, going live increases engagement and also increases conversion rates because people trust you when you're consistent. Um, even your engagement even increases more than actual videos. So when you go live, people actually watch your content. I think it's like at least 3 times more than just a regular video. Okay. So be consistent, whether that's doing a consistent newsletter, email marketing, creating content, showing up in person, doing workshops, doing webinars. You have to be consistent, and I highly recommend showing up weekly. The more you show up, the more people will see you. And I'm going to share the 7-11-4 rule. It's like a Google marketing rule. And it says that people need to see 7 hours of your content, or at least interact with your brand for 7 hours, whether it's like an in-person workshop, a webinar, or 7 hours of video. They have to see you for 7 hours in a 90-day time frame, right? So 7 hours, 11 interactions. So they have to have 11 touch bases. So that could be one touch base could be an email, another touch base could be a written post, another touch base could be a video, another touch base could be a live, another touch base could be you on a podcast or someone else's podcast, but in 11 interactions, okay? And then on 4 different platforms. So that could be on multiple social media platforms. Like right now, I'm streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram and TikTok. So I'm past the 4 platforms. I'm already on 5. And the other platforms can also be email marketing or in-person events. So they have to see you in 4 different places, essentially. So when they get 7 hours of content of engaging with you, your content or your brand, 11 touch points, and 4 different places, they've already established trust. They see you as an expert. And this is when they're most likely going to reach out to you as an inbound marketing lead, right? And want to work with you without you having to do any type of convincing, because they've already done their research. They trust you. They know the results you bring, the transformation. They've seen the testimonials. They read the reviews. They spend a lot of time with you. Okay. So in order to do that, you have to create content. So the type of content to create is long form content, is doing live streams, YouTube videos, and then just chop up the short form content. So they have like short form and long form so they can follow you. Okay. Does that make sense? Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. I appreciate you guys showing up and listening to this. So again, I was just sharing 5 tips that can improve your inbound marketing and improve you getting more clients, right? Whether you're a coach, consultant, have a service or a product. Okay. And then number 4 is create content that solves problems, right? Yes, there's different forms of content. People do like entertaining type content, lifestyle type content, but really educational content is going to be the most important because people want to solve a specific problem. So if you're constantly adding value, giving actionable items, educational content, such as I'm doing now for nurse entrepreneurs, right? They will be able to take that content, implement it, and have small wins. And they're like, oh my goodness, I did what Farah did, told me to do. I went live, I created content, I started DMing people that liked my content, and now I have more clients, right? So create content that solves problems, that's valuable, and that people can put into action and have small wins, because that'll create more trust. Okay. And then number 5, position yourself as the asset. You are the expert. You are the authority in this, whatever industry, service, product, whatever you're doing, you are the asset. So you should show up as the authority. So for me, I create content for new graduate nurses. I'm known to be the nurse career coach for new graduate nurses. That gets results. I get clients over 100K consistently. I help my clients get specialty positions in less than 90 days, some of them getting same day offers. And it's not just from me saying it, right? I actually have receipts, I have proof, I have testimonials, I have video testimonials and written testimonials. Okay. On LinkedIn, I have a bunch. On my website, I have a bunch, and I have videos all over the place, right? And I've helped over 200 nurses. Reviews are very important, right? So you have to position yourself as the authority, as the expert, as the asset, so that people will just come flocking to you because they're like, oh my goodness, I know Dr. Farah Laurent is the expert in branding. She's the expert in going live to increase visibility so that nurse entrepreneurs can get more clients. So I'm going to reach out to her, right? Okay, so just to wrap it up, number 1, you want to speak clearly about the problem and speak directly to your target audience as you're speaking to one person. Teach from experience is number 2, not just theory. Give examples, actionable things that they can actually implement. Number 3, show up consistently every week, every day, whether it's creating a newsletter, showing up live, creating content. And I highly recommend doing live because people can't fake live, right? I know there's AI. I use AI sometimes in my written content, but I know my stuff. And it's clear because no one can fake this live. People ask questions, you answer, people see that you're a real human. you know what you're talking about. Same thing with in-person events. That's like an elevated way to increase your visibility and your brand and connect with people in person. So really the second best thing I think is going live. And I'm going live on multiple platforms at the same time. So it's really efficient. So you don't have to waste time. Okay, and then number 4 is create content that actually solves problems, that's valuable, and that you can give actionable tasks and things that they can actually implement and have small wins. Number 5 is position yourself as the expert, as the asset, and you'll be really the authority in your industry. Okay. Other things that'll open up for you once you start creating content, you'll be asked to go on podcasts, right? This happens to me all the time. And I also pitch myself to be on podcasts because I just like putting my brand out there, getting my message out there, and promoting the business as a nurse career coach, and also promoting my conference, Nurses Making Business Moves. Get your tickets if you haven't gotten your tickets, March 6th and 7th in Tampa, Florida. And then also I have a weekly webinar for new graduate nurses. You can check that out at newnursejob.com. On TikTok, the link is already there. On Instagram and LinkedIn, the link is already there. I have to update it, but you can go and still put your email and address, and then you'll get updated when the next webinar comes up. Okay. So yeah, creating content just builds up your personal brand, helps you position yourself as an authority in your industry, helps you network, partner, collaborate, and you'll unlock opportunities. You'll get asked to speak at different conferences. I've been asked to keynote, to be on panels, to be on podcasts. I have been featured in magazines. I was featured on the Jennifer Hudson show for the work that I've done on Black Enterprise. So more opportunities open up. Okay. So really my big action items for you is to go live every single week. How do you go live? You can use different platforms. I use Restream. If you want to learn how to position yourself as an expert, how to get more clients in your business, how to be more visible, and you want specific step-by-step guidance and support and accountability from me, direct message me, and I will teach you all of the things. You don't have to figure this out all by yourself. Okay. So just direct message me. I actually have a group coaching program for entrepreneurs who want to be more visible, who want to get more clients, who want to build a good brand. Okay. So just direct message me and I can share all that content with you and next steps. Just message me on LinkedIn. All right. So that's it for me today. Please let me know if this was valuable. Drop any comments or questions that you have. Again, my name is Dr. Farah Laurent. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Nursing Dose with Farah. Check out my content. Hit the bell on LinkedIn to follow me. Go to nursesmakingbusinessmoves.com to purchase your ticket for the conference. And just message me if you missed anything out of here. All right.